Hello, everyone. Today's book, you are going to love today's book. Very prolific author, one of my favorites, and this one is going to blow you away. And it's different from all of his other books as well. And we're going to be talking about all that in just a minute. But first, I want to remind you that my book of short horror stories called The Things That Happen at Night is available at the description or in the link in the description for only $3. And if you get it, of course, I hope you enjoy it. But I also have a couple other things down in the description. First, my newsletter starting next month. I plan on a couple times a month sending out a newsletter to anybody that wants to join. It's absolutely free. I'll include reviews of books that maybe I haven't done on this channel yet. I'll include giveaways that I hear about on the internet, so you can get in on those. I'll also send you free stuff, like copies of my stories I'm working on for my next book and things like that. You'll get them first just for signing up, and it's absolutely free. And also, I started a blog, so I'm going to start doing written reviews as well for the books I discuss on the channel. So you can join that or go look at it. That's in the description too, and I hope you do. Now let's get on with the video. All right, so the book we're going to be talking about today is called Ghostwritten by Ronald Malfi. Yes, he's back. In case you don't know who that is, he's one of my favorite authors in the horror genre. His books have always amazed me. As a matter of fact, if you go through my videos, I have two down below. His last two books I did, Come With Me, and the one that came out earlier this year called Blackmouth. And now he has another book coming out this year. Incredible. But it's definitely worth your time, and you'll definitely want to buy it. It's going to be releasing on October 4th. But as always, I have a pre-order link in the description below, so you can be sure to pick that up, and that way when it releases, you don't have to think about it. It'll be delivered right to your Kindle or whatever device you use. The great thing about this is that this is 4 novellas. Each novella can be read separately. Each one is great, by the way. So separately, they would be amazing. But he's kind of written it in a way where they all have some kind of connecting themes and connecting characters. And even though you could read them in any order and still have a great time with this book, you can also read it almost like a novel between these 4 novellas because of that connection. But they all have the same theme, and that theme is about books, cursed books. Words, written pages, manuscripts, and he takes these themes and turns it into something frightening and something scary. I love a good book about horror authors or a cursed horror book or stuff like that. I've read a few of them that I've also reviewed on my channel. And this one takes the cake, I think, because he weaves so much horror into these novellas that trope of the cursed horror book, he makes it feel fresh and exciting, and I really appreciated that. In the first story, it's not the book that is cursed, it's the story within the book. There's a cursed story. And when it goes to, it's by a famous horror author, and when somebody goes to adapt it into a screenplay, we find out that this story does not want to be altered or changed, not one word, in any way, shape, or form. And horrible things happen when people try. And it's a really great, straight-ahead horror story. What a great way to start out this book. Because, like I said, the book isn't cursed, but the story itself is. The story itself has a mind of its own. And at the end, we're going to find out why, and he's going to let us know all that. But until then, it's a good bloody time when somebody tries to alter the story and turn it into a screenplay. And you're going to love how all that turns out, I think. In the second story, we have a pair of brothers who act as a delivery service of sorts for underground organizations. They deliver contraband items for this certain group of people. And this time they're tasked with delivering a book in a briefcase with very, very specific instructions that are not to be messed with. And these brothers go on a road trip through the Twilight Zone to deliver this book, trying to follow the instructions as best they can. But then something happens and it unleashes hell for these two. And you're just going to love this story. It's wild. It's really out there. Like I said, it reminds you of an episode of The Twilight Zone. And I'm telling you, you're just going to love it. And if somebody asked me what's my favorite novella out of the four, I would have to say the one I was reading at the time. Because every time I read the next one, I thought, okay, this one might be even better. But actually, it's the third story that I really loved. And that one's called something along the lines of, this book belongs to Alo, or Olo, however you pronounce the name. But this concerns a creepy kid who's he has no friends. He's kind of isolated from the world in his mansion. He's been homeschooled. He doesn't know anybody. But he decides to invite some kids around his age that he doesn't really know to his birthday party because he wants to make friends. However, Alo has a pop-up book that he's written himself. But when he manipulates this pop-up book, that also manipulates the reality in this pop-up book. And once he gets some friends over to his house, he does not want to let them go because now they're his new friends. It's very, very creepy, and I love that story. You know, you got the creepy kid, you got the supernatural elements, and of course, as always, things go bloodily, horribly awry once those kids arrive. And that was probably my favorite novella out of the four. But the fourth novella is called I believe it's called The Story. And this one is trippy too. This is a mind-altering look at a woman commits suicide. And as a friend of hers, an ex-work associate, investigates her suicide, trying to figure out why she would do such a thing, because she didn't seem like the type. She had a lot going for her. He's going to uncover mysteries concerning the dark web and a choose-your-own-adventure internet story from the dark web that just might be possessed by something otherworldly. And as he gets further into it, he comes to realize that perhaps his whole life, things might not have been what they seem. And again, it's filled with a lot of tension. It's filled with an air of mystery and some very frightening situations that these characters find themselves in. And it was fantastic to read. You are going to love that story as well. And like I said, man, you can't stop Ronald Malfi. You can't stop him, and I don't want to. If he keeps writing, I'm going to keep reading because that's just how great his books are. And this one is no exceptions. Like I said, it's coming out on October 4th. There's a link down below. Pre-order it on Amazon. You want to get your hands on this, I promise. Also down below, there's a link to my book, a link to my newsletter, and a link to my blog if you want to check all those out. Also, I have my Instagram and Twitter down there if you want to join me. I'd love to have you on there. Come say hi. And as always, I want to thank you for taking some of your time, spending it here with me. I really appreciate you guys watching. And until we meet again, keep reading spooky, my friends.